Hey guys, QuinntonTV here and welcome to a brand new video where today we are back with another live story, and it's been a while. I know I do say that at the start of every single live story I do, however that is genuinely just because I don't do these very often because my life is quite mundane, if I'm being honest with you. Like, there's not too much going on. However, I do have a good few stories stacked up, mainly from, like, you know, my drug days, which I have stopped doing that stuff right now. Well, I say right now. I stopped doing that stuff, hopefully permanently. I don't intend to get back and, like, start smoking weed again or whatever. But, yeah, it was just, like, I don't want to do that stuff anymore. It's really, to me, it seems like a waste of money. And yeah, like, I have my own job now. I, have my own money, and I don't want to be spending that on fucking all sorts of shit, to be honest. And also, it kind of helps with these story times, because this story time is not drug related, which is kind of good. I do have a good few more coming very soon that are, so hopefully you guys will enjoy them. But for now, I just thought I'd tell, like, an interesting story that happened to me a good 5 years ago, instead of, just fucking like, oh yeah, I went and smoked a fat spliff when I was 14, which I didn't, by the way. But, we'll move on from that and actually jump straight in to the story right now. So this story takes place in 2017, which is, 5 years ago, and yeah, I would have been 14 around this time. Yeah, I would actually have been 14 because it was set in October, probably about the 25th, 26th, so I would have just turned 14. So the day began just like any other, and I decide, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go and meet the boys in town. So I meet up with Calvin, of course, because it seems like he's in every single one of these story times, and another guy we're gonna call Ian for the purposes of this video. So me, Calvin, and Ian were just like, you know what, let's hang out. It's it's kind of late at night per se. It was probably about, like, not even 9 o'clock at this point, but it was going dark, and we were just like, you know what, let's just chill, get some beers. So we nipped to my friend's house because obviously we were all 14, couldn't buy beers, and his mum had loads in, so we just nicked them from her cupboard, which is not a really good thing to admit, but we did it. But we nicked them from the cupboard, and we start walking around his estate, having a beer, having a laugh between all three of us. And this is when we are joined by Stephen and another guy we're going to call Ted. So Stephen and Ted are just two guys I've known for quite some time, and they join us, and they each get a beer, and we all just start laughing and joking and stuff like that. And yeah, we decide that we've had enough of walking around random estates in our town, and we decide, you know what, let's go to the Haunted Forest. So if you don't know, for a bit of context, the Haunted Forest is a thing we call just a random bit of woodland outside our town. It's about a mile out, so unfortunately it is not haunted. However, if you have watched Youth Urban Explorers, which was an old channel that Ian himself used to actually run, and I shouldn't say that because it's probably going to get taken down now, but yeah, if you've actually seen any of that, you have seen the series Trek, which was essentially them walking around our town and doing random shit, which we did attempt to film a second episode, which I was actually in, but we never got round to it. But that channel, it's a nice little bit of trivia there. I believe that first video did come out before this story takes place. So yeah, essentially Ian was one of the people that run that channel, and he said, you know what, let's go to the Haunted Forest. So we all set off. We go across the river, which I believe will be featured in a story at some point, but go over the bridge over the river, which is kind of like where people go river jumping. We cross that, and we go over the fields towards the Haunted Forest. So as I said, it's about a mile out, so it took us a little bit of some time to walk, especially we were walking quite slowly while we're chatting to Ted and Steve, and obviously Calvin and Ian, and we were just chilling out, having a few beers and having a laugh, because that's what's important in these stories. So we get to the Haunted Forest, and we just start, like, sitting down, chilling out. There's actually a bridge in the Haunted Forest that we like to sit, like, in the middle of, like, kind of in the arch, and essentially it links the field to the field across from the railway. So if you've got the Haunted haunted forest in the middle, you've got a bridge on the field on one side, you've got the railway tracks, and then another field, and that bridge kind of like goes over all four of them, which is kind of cool, I guess you could say. It's quite a big bridge, and it kind of goes like over the forest, which is really, really, really cool, and I don't really see that in many places. But we sit under there and we start chilling out. We get out the rest of the beers, and all five of us kind of just like, drink it, thinking we're absolutely solid because we're 14 and drinking when we shouldn't be, let's be honest. But we're just kind of like joking, and me and Ian are talking about YouTube, because at the time Ian did YouTube. He had a channel which often collaborated with mine, because back in this day I'd have had the Quinton Games name, which I later changed to QuinntonTV before deleting that channel and moving over to cosmicctf. But during this time we actually had beef with two YouTubers called Combo and Combo and Questy. There we go. I almost forgot his name there, but I'm actually friends with these two now, which is kind of funny, and I'm not friends with Ian anymore, which is really strange, to be honest with you. But basically, if you don't know, Zypha and Xavvo were both Questy and Combo. So Xavvo's original channel was Questy. I'm actually having a seizure with these names here. And Zypha's original channel was called Combo. So that was very interesting that we had beef with them, and we were actually talking about this on the night. We were just like, oh yeah, these guys are fucking pussies or whatever. And obviously this is don't take this the wrong way, Xavvo Zypha, when you're watching this, because obviously I was just being retarded when I was 14, and I was like, yeah, YouTube drama with random fucking kids. So we're all just kind of like sitting there enjoying the beers. We did end up getting a little bit drunk. I say that because it was like 4 beers in, and yeah, that's kind of like nothing now to me. I just kind of like, go out, have a few pints, and we'll just chill. However, then I was like, guys, I can't walk properly. Like acting it up because you think you're funny if you do it, that sort of thing. I'm pretty sure if you guys are my age or like even a bit older, you'll know what I'm talking about when you first started drinking. Yeah, it's just one of them funny experiences that you can tell people about, and like everyone kind of understands it. But yeah, we're sat under this bridge enjoying ourselves, bit of music playing, stuff like that. And I start to hear some footsteps and voices accompanying them just above us on the bridge, and I half recognize one of the voices, and I'm like, oh yeah, that guy's in like the year above us. That's what I thought. He was actually 2 or 3 years above. And they start saying like, guys, can you hear that down there? They're playing music. Who are they? Should we go down and see? And eventually this girl chimes in and says, oh, do you think they've got any money or something like that? Which we think like, what? What the fuck is going on here? So, but when we hear, do you reckon they have any money? We're like, oh shit, are we about to get robbed here? So we all start packing up our bags, and we basically start legging it back towards town. And these guys are kind of come in hot pursuit, because when we get probably about 25 yards away from the bridge, I hear them like make contact with the floor with the leaves rustling, which is how I knew they made contact. And I hear, guys, just wait up, we want to speak to you. And at that point we just all start running further, and eventually we do get out of the haunted forest and have to jump over a fence, because the gate was closed essentially, and it was much quicker to just jump it than spend 5 minutes trying to fucking force this gate open. So we're just kind of like, right, just keep going. And I was the last person to jump over, and when I'm jumping over, I turn round to get like my feet fully on the floor before turning around and sprinting, and I see like their torches coming towards us, because they've got like the torches on their phone lights and stuff like that. And I see one of their faces, which is how I now know that they're like 2 or 3 years above me, because I recognized the face. However, I knew they were like, oh yeah, this guy's older. He's probably about 16, 17, and we were 14. So it was just a bit dodgy, to be honest with you. And we continue running down this path that we'd just come up, and we're kind of like, what the fuck just happened? And I do see the torch lights kind of like behind us for a good maybe I don't know, 5 minutes maybe, until we got to about halfway point, and that's when they turned off and went into a field. I guess they just kind of like gave up at that point, but it was kind of scary, to be honest with you, because obviously if you're gonna get robbed anyway, like that shit's scary, you know. You don't know what the fuck they're gonna do nowadays anyway. Like anyone could have a knife on them, which is kind of scary. But yeah, it was just like, oh shit, did that really happen? So Ted and Steve actually went home. They were like, nah, I'm not having any of this shit, I'm going home. So yeah, it leaves me, Ian and Calvin, and we were just kind of like stood there like, what the fuck do we do now? Everything's starting to close, because it was probably about maybe 10:30 at this point, something like that anyway. So everything's starting to close, and obviously we can't go to the pub because we're not old enough. So we're just kind of like, what the fuck do we do now? But then we realise Ian, in his infinite wisdom, has lost his phone, and he's left it back there, which was lucky as hell, because we went all the way back to the haunted forest, all three of us, and we saw Ian's phone exactly where he'd left it, and we were like, holy shit, how did they not notice that? Like, holy fuck. Like, surely if you're gonna rob someone, you could, like, rob a tenner off a 14-year-old, or you could steal the phone, which is probably worth about 500 quid. Yeah, that just kind of seems like a no-brainer to me, but they must not have noticed it, because the seats we were using are like, I don't know how to describe it, like big brick pillars or something like that. I guess that's how I'd describe it. And it had fallen in between two of them. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how they didn't notice it. They probably didn't look very carefully anyway. They probably just saw a bunch of empty beer bottles and thought, what a bunch of fucking pissheads. But anyway, that's going to be it for today's video here. The rest of the story just goes like, we walked back from the forest, we got his phone, we walked back, and we kind of just like, you know what, let's go sit in his garage or something like that. And yeah, that's going to be it for today's video here. If you did enjoy, please do like and subscribe. Make sure you turn on post notifications so you never miss a single video, or alternatively, you can join the Discord server as a link down below. But anyway, Jesus Christ, I'm knackered. I've been at work all day, so you can't fucking blame me. But yeah, this has been QuinntonTV, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Guys, what the hell is that? No, run! Yeah, run! Ah!
Why are you running? Why are you running?